Hi, parent teachers. It's Sunday school time again. Uh, this week, our lesson is called A Crushing Truth. It's going to sort of be a series now of different kinds of truth. And I have to tell you that when I first saw that this week's lesson was the crucifixion, I said, no, we're skipping this one. We just did it in Bible school. We just did it at Easter. We can skip it. But then I thought about it, and I remembered the days when I was teaching kids how to read, and experts say that a child has to have between 10 and 15 different encounters, meaningful encounters with a word in varied settings before that word is mastered by them as far as meaning and reading. So I thought, if that's true of a word, it probably is certainly true for the most important story, one of the most important stories in the Bible. So I decided, yeah, we can probably do it again, and the kids will probably gain something from it. So again, we'll start with the objective, which is always on this first page. This whole thing is downloaded for you so you can print it off or read it online. And the learner goal is that we want the children to know that Jesus willingly went to the cross and died for them. And so that's the objective for this week. I was not crazy about the launch activities included here, although if they work for you, then that's what you need to use. I thought of one that I probably would use instead, which is to ask the kids to show me their happy face. And they would make happy face. Show me your sad face. Then they would show me your sad. Yeah, well, happy and sad are opposites, aren't they? Can anything ever be happy and sad at the same time? And our first thought is no, they're totally different. But think about it. What about ask the kids when you get promoted to the next grade? You're happy that you don't have to do your old grade again, but you're sort of sad because you've grown to know that teacher and the way that teacher does things, and you don't know what you're getting next year, so you're a little sad too. What about when you have to move? You're happy because you're looking forward to a new adventure and a new house and a new school, but you're sad because you have to leave the old ones behind. What about when somebody dies? As Christians, we're sad because we won't get to see them anymore. We won't get to be with them. But we're happy because we know that they're with Jesus. So I think we come up with the conclusion that things can be happy and sad at the same time, and tell the kids that's what this story is. This story is happy and sad at the same time. And then you might want to tell the story either with scripture, or one of the suggestions in your teacher's guide is that you take a piece of paper and divide it into sections. So you could fold it in half, good grief, there. Fold it in half again, and fold it in half one more time, 3 times. That will give you a paper with 8 boxes to draw your 8 scenes. And then you tell the story and let the children draw pieces of it as they go along. You might first tell about the Garden of Gethsemane. Goodness knows I am not a talented artist. Your children can probably draw something much more than this, but they don't have to. It's not the product, it's the process. So, draw a Garden of Gethsemane, or Jesus praying in the Garden of Gethsemane. Then the soldiers come and arrest Jesus with their swords, and they use their ropes to tie him up. Then they take him to Pilate, and he has the crown of thorns put on his head, and that makes him sad. And then Pilate says, well, we whipped him and we put the crown of thorns on his head. Isn't that enough to let him go? And then Pilate says, well, what about Barabbas, this mean old crook? How about I let him go? I keep him and let Jesus go. And so you can tell that whole part of the story might be something new that your kids don't know about, how that was the custom, that each year they would let one criminal go. And so Pilate was hoping to let Jesus go. Because another part of the story that it suggests in the older narrative is this whole thing about that Pilate didn't really think Jesus was guilty. Pilate really was trying to get the people to let him go, but he was afraid they would be mad at him and revolt, and so he did give Jesus over to them to be crucified. So those are some sections to the story that we don't cover every time, but since we've just recently done this story and you're sort of adding to, this would be a good time to include those parts. Then you could talk about Jesus carrying his cross to Golgotha. The next part of the story is when they put him on the cross and the two thieves that were crucified along with him. And this drawing is horrible. And then you might talk about how it got dark and how there was an earthquake and how the veil, the curtain in the temple was torn in half. That's a part we don't always get to either. And the veil was to sort of separate the Holy of Holies, where only the high priest could go, where the presence of God was, and the rest of the people. Well, when Jesus died, that curtain was split, was torn, because now there didn't need to be a separation between God and man. Man was reconciled with Jesus' death to God and could be his child. Then I sort of like to leave this last one with nothing, just because we let the kids know, okay, that's the sad part of the story, but you know, we said things could be happy and sad at the same time. The happy part's coming, and we're happy that Jesus did this because he did it for us so that we could be reconciled. And our sin, God is a just God. It had to be paid for. There had to be a punishment. And Jesus took that punishment for us, so that part makes us happy. And tell them, we'll dwell more on that part next Sunday when he conquered death. And today we're talking about this part, which is sad because he died and because he was hurt so bad, but happy because he did it so that we could be God's children. Then I circled on here a couple of things. The Barabbas part is sort of new, and Jesus was innocent and did it willingly. The soldiers did not have to trap him and bind him up to take him. He went willingly to do this. And some of the questions are, why would he do it? He was God. He didn't have to. He did because his Father asked him to, and because he knew that there had to be a price paid for our sin, and that he was the only perfect one who could do it. So he did it out of love and out of obedience. Then there is the Live page, which has lots of good ideas. The one I liked the best was this cross scavenger hunt, where you send the kids on a hunt around your house or even outside looking for crosses. Now, they can be decorative crosses that are real crosses that are on the wall, but it can also be just a place where two boards come together on the wall, or two pipes out in the backyard. See if they can find and learn to look for crosses everywhere. You might give them a cell phone and say, okay, you've got 15 minutes. Let's see who can come back with the most pictures of crosses. And so I think that would be good. And then when they see those two posts that way again, they'll be reminded of this story and of the fact, our objective, that Jesus died for them. And he did that because he loved us so much. And could a cross take that love away? Could death take that love away? Nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing can take that love away. Have a good week in God's love. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.